Well, Bill Shorten has decided, although he says it wasn't his decision, to have a speechwriter being paid $300,000 a year. This is more than most sitting MPs. Their base salary doesn't come near that. But here's him saying, yeah, look, it wasn't even my decision. I just ended up with this guy. What am I supposed to do about it?
I think that the hiring of a speechwriter was done by Services Australia. I had no idea what the payment was. So if you're trying to link me to that, you know, good luck. The point about it is the person involved who's the speechwriter does a very good job. I'm not responsible for negotiating a contract.
We would hope he does a very good job, although your speeches don't quite reflect that. What are they? Should be gilded with gold right now. Also, this excuse of, oh, I didn't know, he was just handed to me. How was I supposed to know? Yeah, well, now you're aware. Are you not going to do anything about it? This is the minister responsible for welfare in this country. That's essentially what he looks after. And here he is while Australia suffers and groans underneath a cost of living crisis that is putting the middle class and everybody else underneath to bringing them to their knees, and he's all like, "Yeah, $300,000."
Well, he's also
he's
also the man responsible for, of course, cutting the waste out of the NDIS. But before before Julianne Stewart writes in to complain that you've misgendered her, she is a woman.
Sorry.
But before she went off to work for Services Australia on $300,000 a year, which, you know, like if you're a staff or a speechwriter as a political staff, you'd be on about 140 at the good end of things. So 300 is pretty good going. But before going to Services Australia, Ms. Stewart was a speechwriter to Alan Joyce at Qantas. So I'm not sure how good an endorsement that is. And was then a speechwriter to the Vice Chancellor of University of New South Wales. Now, I can't blame her for taking the $300,000 a year.
You understand she's not Bill Shorten's speechwriter.
Sure, but she
is a woman, and she is not Bill Shorten's speechwriter.
She is not employed. She is not employed in his office. But part of her job description is to write speeches for Bill Shorten.
Yes, but he clearly had no idea who she was, or why she'd been hired, or that she'd been hired, or how much she'd been hired for. So obviously, when you are a minister, you have departmental liaison officers. So you have people in your office who either are from the department to give you advice from what they know based on being a public service, so they're non-political. And you have people who, of course, whose services you can call upon if you want them, but they are not your staff. So he did not hire this speechwriter. And indeed, if he had have hired a speechwriter, it would have been me.
Well, look, I think there is one question on many people's lips tonight. That is, who leaked this story? Therein might lie some interesting bits and pieces.